The Just Cause series has always been a guilty pleasure of mine when it comes to games. Whenever I don't feel like engaging in a cinematic story and a meaningful plotline with engaging characters and world building and just want to blow some stuff up, Just Cause always scratches that itch. That might explain why Just Cause 3 is one of my most played Steam games, clocking in at over 100 hours over the last 6 years. I originally tried to play Just Cause 4 when it originally came out, but there was just something missing with the charm of the previous games not being captured in any light, making me put the game down until a couple weeks ago. Just Cause 4 frequently goes on sale, and I was able to pick up the game for only $4, with the game being revamped or reloaded, changing much about the game from launch, making it an actually fun and engaging experience like its predecessors. If you enjoy this type of content, consider subbing to the channel and dropping a like, and without further ado, let's get right into it. This section will be short and contain no story spoilers for the game, rather just a quick premise of the game's story, despite it not being the main reason you'd even want to pick up this game or any other game in this wonderful series. The Just Cause series has never been sought out for the amazing stories it delivers or anything of that nature, as the game's stories instead serve as a backdrop for the amazing gameplay and mechanics to take center stage, with chaos and destruction being the game's motto. Just Cause 4 follows Rico Rodriguez, once again in the midst of a country unfairly ruled by a brutal dictator, as he forms a rebellion to take down the forces of evil within the country. The game's story follows the formula of prior games in the series, with Rico taking down specific bases and key points within the vast lands of the overwhelmed country in order to bring the dictator to justice. Of course, throughout this journey with Rico across this new land, you'll be accompanied by some old faces as well as some new ones, of which makes this a fun story to see through to the end, even if it isn't anything memorable or remarkable in any way of the word. The story is very average and serviceable, and if you've played Just Cause 3 or any other game in the series, you understand the quality of the story for this game from their standards, and I honestly never expected anything great with the story, as the gameplay is what this series is all about. However, the overall graphical quality of the game in cutscenes is worse than the prior games somehow, and it was really distracting for me throughout my playthrough, so that is something to take note of. Let's get right into what makes this series so damn fun, and is the reason you'd even want to pick up this game, besides the extremely cheap price of only $4. Just Cause 4 retains many of the same elements of gameplay as prior games, with the gameplay loop primarily focused on you taking down various bases, with them having objectives within them in order for you to take over the base for yourself and essentially liberate the base itself. This is always a fun activity, as flying around in a wingsuit and grappling all over a gigantic base while you are constantly getting bombarded by bullets and rockets is amazing, as you see the destruction and explosions erupt as you fly around. Like prior games, the wingsuit and the grappling hook always take center stage in how fun the gameplay systems are. The destruction of this game, like any other Just Cause game, is facilitated by the tether mechanic. Being able to attach one barrel of oil to a radio tower, for example, and seeing it being blown to oblivion and collapse over all the enemies underneath it is truly a sight to behold. But that's only the very beginning of the possibility with such a mechanic. Of course, the guns in the game are fun to control, and you'll be constantly unlocking new ones as you play the game. But it's always more fun to tether an enemy to a 10-story building and watch them scream as they fly up, or to utilize barrels of oil and watch everything explode as all the enemies around you succumb to the explosions of chaos around them. If you've ever played another Just Cause game, you'll understand the gameplay of this game in an instant. And this game truly does feel like it has the most refined system of gameplay in the entire series. Of course, you've also got a bunch of varied vehicles to also use to navigate around this map, which I've got to say is absolutely humongous. Getting from one side of the map to the other will take a while, but with all the forms of traversal and bases to liberate, this never ever feels like a chore. Of course, you can always take forms of transport such as cars, bikes and planes, but messing around with the grappling hook and gliding across the blue sky in your wingsuit is the most optimal way to get around the gigantic map, and definitely the most fun in almost every aspect. Something I do miss from prior games is the ability to liberate actual towns, but in this game the liberation is limited to the military bases you'll be exploring, and sometimes the activities within these bases can become quite repetitive. They usually include objectives such as deactivating turrets, for example, or freeing a bunch of prisoners and escorting them out of the military base. This would become insanely repetitive and annoying if it wasn't for the fun gameplay, which allows you to cause chaos in a variety of different ways. This made me never get bored of the gameplay systems and mechanics in my 15 hours of play, as I would use different tethering options to tether different things together in order to cause the max level of destruction. The gameplay is and always will be centered around the chaos that you, the player, can cause, and it really is limitless in what you can do with the gameplay mechanics provided to you. I always found unique ways to take down my enemies or to take down military bases, as I found a new and creative way to cause the max level of chaos and destruction that was possible. The game is constantly fun, and although I may miss the more beautiful landscapes of Just Cause 3 with it looking more vibrant and varied, Just Cause 4 still delivers a world that is beautiful to look at and fun to explore, with many of the same activities from prior games returning, with other fun ones such as stunts and different side missions always available to you if you'd like to mix up the variety of your journey within the facets of this game. There's not a whole lot more to say about the gameplay mechanics of Just Cause 4. It's very similar to its predecessor, but it is able to build on certain mechanics such as the tether and the grappling hook in order to make them more unique and stand out as a unique mechanic that really does differentiate the game when compared to other and more typical third-person shooters. However you want to mix it, Just Cause 4 is a very fun and enjoyable game, although it does have some distractions from its predecessor, of which I surely hope is fixed if there ever is another installment in this super fun series. Once again, and as elaborated on throughout the video, I highly recommend you pick up this game, especially as it should be on sale across multiple storefronts for only a few dollars, which for the value of the content provided to you is absolutely an amazing deal that you should take advantage of. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoy content like this, consider subbing to the channel and liking the video, and until next time, peace.